Welcome back. Let's introduce our cars, locomotive. We do have one car that's on the CP interchange that is not in this string of cars that needs to be switched out as well, but we will see that later on in the video. We have three industries that we're going to get to today. One is ATI that you can see back there in the gray building, BlueLinx construction equipment, and we're going to be going down to the team track for a couple of cars there, and let's get into it. Pulling out to track one, we're gonna obviously stop here as we do every time, and then run around to the other end of our train, grab this brown box car. That's going to be our first car or first delivery, and that's going to go down into BlueLinx. Over at BlueLinx, we've got a couple of pickups. We've got an empty box car and an empty center beam that we need to get out of there, and then we can put this box car into the warehouse. Pulling up to the switch for the spur. Let's switch that over, and then we can get in there and do our switching. There's a sneak peek of our third box car sitting next to our warehouse there. That one's going over to ATI, or American Technologies Incorporated, the fictitious company that we switched last week. And this one just simply completes that industry. That one is full of computer components, and we'll have to do like a run around and all that sort of stuff. Obviously all that's coming up. But for now, we're going to take and leave our two empty cars from BlueLinx out here on the interchange track. And then we're going to dive in, like you see now, with our NOKL car. Put that in the warehouse and grab all three of the cars on the interchange and bring them out to the runaround. See, we've got an XUP locomotive doing the switching here. This is a customized locomotive that I made into VTR 208 prior to its red paint, but after its LLPX purchase. So for some reason, I don't know, I like to see these sort of locomotives when they're in their original paint scheme, and before they get their, classic red. Call me crazy, it seemed to be more grungy, more, I don't know, seemed to be like more of an underdog, which somehow I feel like, I don't know, I like it better than just simply seeing a bunch of red locomotives. It gives a little bit more personality to each locomotive, and I don't know, if you agree, let me know. If you don't, let me know that too. So here's a real good look at the TOBX car, last in line here. That's headed over to ATI. As I've stated, that needs a runaround. The Pan Am car in the background also needs a runaround. That one's going down to the team track. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these cars that we're hauling right now over onto track 1 with the Pan Am and MEC car, so that we can hook the MEC car and this TBOX car up next to each other, and then we can get those over onto track 2 and get the locomotive over on the other end. With these two boxcars hooked up, we're going to shove them back onto a little bit of onto track 2 right now, so that we can get the other 2 cars, the empties, onto the storage track, and then we'll be able to pull those back forward, so we can do our runaround and all that sort of stuff. So just a little bit of sorting right now, nothing too crazy. This locomotive is an Athearn Genesis, and I have to tell you, it runs really well. I'm rather impressed with the way that it runs. It's kind of one of my favorite locomotives. It does not have sound like most of my locomotives, because typically when I'm running trains, it's down in the basement before anybody else is awake. So sound and noise and everything is I try and keep that to a minimum. So if I can't use the sound anyway, might as well not spend the money on it. So maybe in the future, if I start running the trains at a different time, then maybe I'll be able to add sound back in. But for right now, we just leave them without sound. Makes things a little bit cheaper anyway, so. Okay, let's get this locomotive around the other end of these two cars, shove them down onto the main line, and then pull them back onto track 2. The other end that we were just on of track 2 doesn't have enough space for both of those cars plus the locomotive, so I do have to utilize the main line so that I can complete this runaround maneuver. And we're just going to back these up just enough to clear the switch for ATI. This delivery to ATI isn't going to require anything crazy, taking out other cars or anything. It's just simply pushing this one boxcar right into the leftover empty space, and we'll get out onto our other business. This boxcar is a little big, or the spot is just a little bit tight for this particular car, but we can make it work. We'll just squeeze it on in there, and we'll push back the other boxcar just a little bit so that we can squeeze it in. Okay, so with two industries down, the only thing left is the team track, so let's head on down there and grab a couple of aggregate hoppers and leave this boxcar in their place. Both the team track and the Champlain fuel track are they're off of the CP interchange track or spur that we've got coming off of the main line. But we do service those industries rather than CP, so we just pull back, use the CP interchange as a little bit of a lead, and then we're going to shove these aggregate cars up onto the spur, get those out of the way, drop our boxcar, and pull these guys out onto onto our runaround, so that we can get them, so we can get the locomotive on the other end, collect our cars, and we can go on home. This old VTR car, a box car, is inspired by a scene on the VTR where they used a couple of old box cars as essentially storage sheds. I don't know what they store in them, but they do exist. And I had this car, so I decided to make it a little bit of a storage shed on my layout. Okay, that's the last industry, so let's grab these two aggregate cars, head out to the runaround, do our runaround, and collect our cars for the outbound train. The recording of this video was quite a bit of footage. The original length was almost 40 minutes, and I was able to capture all of the movements, I believe, and cut it down to 22 minutes, which honestly is, cutting it down almost 50% is fairly impressive for myself. I've impressed myself, but it does seem like you're you're chopping out a lot, and then you go back and you watch it, and all of a sudden, you know, you're not missing anything. So I do try, and I've been trying to get better in making these videos a little bit shorter, so that they're, you know, less, you know, not quite as boring, and so hopefully you appreciate the shorter length, and we were able to switch out 3 industries in 22 minutes. Okay, let's get the locomotive on the other end of the train, back these guys up into the 2 empties on the storage, and get out of here. Okay, we'll hook these up, charge some brakes, put the end of train device on the boxcar at the end, and we are done for the day. Thanks for watching. Come back next week when we'll be switching a couple more industries. I don't know which ones. I got to roll the dice and figure that out. But look forward to seeing you then. Thanks again. Like and subscribe if you feel like. If not, it's okay too. But we'll see you next week.